A very good morning to all of you. I am Dr. Meenakshi Lohani, Assistant Professor Geography at Kumari Mayavati Government Girls PG College, Badalpur, Gautam Buddha Nagar, Uttar Pradesh. I welcome all the MA third semester students for this class on research methodology, where we will taking up the essential aids, the requirements for effective research outcomes. For a research, we need certain aids, tools for collecting the data, and these data collection tools can be said as the essential aids for collecting the data. The content is exclusively meant for academic purpose for enhancing teaching and learning. Any other use for economic, commercial purpose is strictly prohibited. The user of this content shall not distribute, disseminate or share it with anyone else, and its use is restricted to advancement of individual knowledge. The information provided in the content is authentic and best as per my knowledge. Objective of the study. The objective of the present study is to teach the students so as the students will be able to learn, retain and recall the tools of research. Students will be able to explain, analyze and compare it with other tools of research. Students will develop enthusiasm, motivation and positive attitudes toward research. So, in all, we can say to develop the research culture, promote the research culture and teach the students about the various tools of research, this topic is taken. The first and the foremost part of collecting the data in any research, the tool used is an inquiry form. An inquiry form is a form, it can be of any type, and there are various methods through which we can collect these inquiries. Like first, the questionnaire. Questionnaire is a set of question and answer form in which the respondent himself fills the answers. Second is the schedule. A schedule is filled by the enumerator. The surveyor distributes the schedule, goes with the schedule, and the enumerator enters the answers. Then is the checklist, the rating scale, the scorecard, and the opinionaire. Opinionaire is made up of two words, opinion and questionnaire. So, all these are discussed further in detail, and I'll be taking up individually the questionnaire, schedule, checklist, rating, scorecard, and opinionaire. So, questionnaire. As we all know, in any kind of a research, questionnaire is the first and the foremost thing which we make when we go for the survey, research or collecting the data. A questionnaire is a research instrument consisting of a series of questions for the purpose of gathering information from the respondents. The questionnaire was invented by the Statistical Society of London in 1838. Although questionnaires are often designed for statistical analysis of the responses, this is not always the case. In geography, whenever we go for any field survey or any research work, we do make a questionnaire, a set of questions depending on the study area, the terrain and the people, the socioeconomic status. Actually, depending on the content, what we are going to find out, the problem of the research, we go with the questionnaire and get it filled on ground. Second is the schedule. The schedule method of data collection is very much like the collection of data through questionnaire, with little difference which lies in the fact that schedules, per forma containing a set of questions, are being filled in by the enumerators who are specially appointed for the purpose. These enumerators are, along with schedules, go to the respondent, put them to the questions from the per forma in the order of the question are listed, and record the replies in the space meant for the same in the per forma. In certain situations, schedules may be handed over to respondents and enumerators may help them in recording the answers to various questions in the said schedules. Enumerators explain the aim and object of the investigation and also remove the difficulties which a respondent may feel in understanding the implication of a particular question or the definition or concept of a difficult term. The difference between questionnaire and schedule is questionnaire is filled by the respondent and schedule is filled by the enumerator. Next comes the checklist. A checklist is a form that is used for quickly and easily recording data or identify actions or requirements. It is usually easy to extract data in a useful manner from a checklist. It is particularly effective at registering the occurrence of incident, events, tasks, or problems. A rating scale. Rating scale is a common method of data collection that is used to gather comparative information about a specific research subject. Specifically, a rating scale is a type of multiple choice question and it allows survey respondents to assign a value to the product or a service. Next comes the scorecard. Scorecard is a balanced scorecard used to measure and provide feedback to organizations. Data collection is crucial to provide quantitative result as manager and executive gather and interpret the information and use it to make better decisions for the organization. Last is the opinionaire, a form containing a list of statements, each of which the member of a selected group are asked to endorse or reject. The purpose being to gather information for a survey. It is formed. The word is formed by joining of two words, the opinion and questionnaire. So, how to pronounce opinionaire? Opinionaire is a form containing a list of statements. Okay, these are the various type of tools which we use. After this is this observation we have already done. Observation becomes a scientific tool and the method of data collection for the researcher when it serves a formulated research purpose. It is systematically planned and recorded and is subjected to checks and controls on validity and reliability. Under the observation method, the information is sought by a way of investigators' own direct observation without asking from the respondent. For instance, in a study related to consumer behavior, the investigator, instead of asking the brand of wristwatch used by the respondent, may himself look at the watch. So, by the observation, he comes to know the brand. The main advantage of this method is the subjective bias is eliminated if observation is done accurately. Secondly, the information obtained under this method relates to what is currently happening. It is not complicated by either the past behavior or future intentions or attitudes. Thirdly, this method is independent of respondents' willingness to respond and such in relatively less demanding of active cooperation on the part of respondents as happens to case in interview or in the questionnaire method. The method is particularly suitable in studies which deal with the subjects that are not capable of giving verbal reports of their feelings for one reason or other. Next is the interview method. The interview method of collecting data involves presentation of oral, verbal stimuli and reply in terms of oral verbal responses. This method can be used through personal interview and if possible through the telephonic interviews. Next, as a geography student, we'll talk about the geographical techniques and the surveys. So, the most important thing in geography is a map. A map and a diagram is always used for the interpretation of the data, of the spatial data. These maps and diagrams use various equipments for making these maps and diagrams. Like we use compass and other surveying equipment for making the maps and the diagrams. Nowadays, with the technological advancement, GPS is an important and a very highly technical tool which is used for mapping the data. Geography is an essential skill whether guiding ships across the ocean, positioning astronauts in the space, or providing directions to us. In all, geographical tools and techniques are used, and these are based on the surveys. And in the surveys, when we go, we take certain equipment and devices with us. So when we talk about the GPS, it is totally based on the satellite navigation system. GPS takes location from various satellites and then gives the accurate position. Nowadays, in our daily lives also, we use all the GPS tools in our cars, on our mobile phones to get the directions. But along with the GPS locations, we have to use our mind also. Sometimes we get stuck and the GPS reroutes us. Then we use our brains to get into the exact place using the other techniques. So next is the statistical analysis of data. The statistical analysis of all data is done. The descriptive statistics, explanatory statistics, analytics, mathematical analysis, regional analysis, and modeling of data is done. GIS mapping is done. It is again a big tool for statistical analysis of a data, analysis the satellite data. The satellite data is processed through GIS and maps are made, various modeling is done, and remote sensing satellites are the major source of collecting all the data. Satellite data is the major source. So in this chapter, what all questions we can take up is explain the type of inquiry forms, comment on observation techniques, and explain the geographical surveys. These are the references which I have taken for this particular topic. Thank you. Thanks a lot.